What up? It's your boy T-Bear in the reaction. Today's Music Monday, Music and Movie Mondays. I'm back to the music, and we'll check out a video from the homie Brandon Shaw with another episode of Digging the Greats involving one of my favorite, the man himself, the King of Pop, Michael Jackson. And this is about one of my favorite tracks off the Jackson album, Destiny, Big Man Boogie. But he said a different MJ wrote the song. So always find these nice little tidbits from Brandon Shaw about anything with MJ or music in general though as well too. All the videos he done with MJ has been very informative and mind blowing as well too. So this is probably gonna be another mind blower as well too. Plus he also like to show off the skills that involve his skills with on the turntables and his bass as well too, because he's a bass player, both kinds. But anyway, other than that, let's check it out.
So a few weeks ago, I invited my friend Trey on to help tell the story of the song I was covering because he also loves great music stories. Well, one thing led to another, and I've invited Trey back today because he says he has a great story to tell me about an artist I've never heard of.
That's right.
Oh my God,
There you go.
You can do that every time?
Today, I'm here to tell y'all about Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson?
Oh yeah, you know Michael Jackson?
Yeah, man, I've done like 30 videos on Michael Jackson.
Oh, the one who was making music in the 70s?
Yes.
The guy who made music with his brother?
Well, brothers, but yeah.
Yeah, from the United Kingdom.
No, he's famously from Gary, Indiana, man.
Oh, you're thinking of Michael Jackson.
Uh-oh.
What did I say? Because who's on first? Michael Jackson, dude.
That's my bad. I should have mentioned him by his artist name, Mick Jackson.
Okay, Mick Jackson, I've never heard
I
of.
kind of heard of that name. I think I heard of that name. I actually might have heard of that name, be honest. I'm not lying, I'm not capping. I actually heard that name before some way in music. So, but he's gonna break it down.
Just like I said. Today, I'm going to be telling you about a different artist named Michael Jackson. How he wrote one of my favorite songs.
And as another MJ, another Michael Jackson, but his name is Mick Jackson. Wow.
Popular by the other Michael Jackson, and how these two Michael Jacksons simultaneously competed in the charts with the same song, which then raises a lot of other questions.
Okay, but what is this record?
This is something not...
Is be telling me Boogie is another song cover originally done by somebody else other than the Jacksons. Yo, man, the breakdowns y'all telling me, man. But either way, Mike's still a man. If it's not the original, he'll make it his own. I mean, he already did since he was a kid with Smokey Robinson. So yeah.
On stream.
Y'all know the song.
By the way, there are two versions of this video, the one you're watching now and then the full edit on Patreon. We can do a lot more over there, so the video is going to be longer and it's ad-free. Patreon.com/diggingthegreats. You get it. All right, Trey, let's go.
All right. Okay, first, let me tell you about the Jacksons.
Okay, Trey, I know the Jackson 5, man.
No, I'm talking about the Jacksons. You see, it is the same, but different, and in a very important way. You see, the Jackson 5's big break came in late 1969 with I Want You Back and their debut album. But that success was relatively short-lived. In fact, the majority of what we know of their biggest hits, 7 top 10 songs, all came in a 2-year span. After those 2 years, the peak of the Jackson 5's popularity started to decline. Rather quickly. Now, Michael did top the charts with his solo release, Ben, in 1972, but he and his brothers as a group went almost 3 years without a top 10
It's
hit
crazy to think about that, because you know the songs are so popular, but if you look at it from a chart perspective and how he's breaking it down, they really wasn't making big hits. It's just they made a lot of songs. They became very popular because of Michael Jackson, or because of Michael Jackson, the Jackson success later on, the anthologies and all of that. So yeah, they was actually on a decline. You look at it a little bit, they were on decline at one point. Even around Dance Machine, you know, it's my favorite era of the Jackson 5, the older Jackson 5 era when they did Dance Machine. Body Language, Get Together and all that. That's my favorite era because it's like older Michael Jackson vocals in a way, somewhat, but at the same time, they wasn't big hits at the time.
1974's Dancing Machine.
All right, so they've got some ups and downs. That doesn't seem too strange. This was all on Motown, though, right?
Yeah, exactly. And actually, this is kind of a transitory time for that label as well. Berry Gordy had officially uprooted the entire label from Detroit in 1972 to Los Angeles. But the Jackson 5, they continued cooling off for a little bit. See, around this time, they started to become known primarily as a Las Vegas act, and performed smaller tours throughout the U.S. But Joe Jackson, their father and manager, this was not what he had in mind for his sons.
He wasn't having it.
And ultimately, in 1975, the Jackson 5 left Motown.
Like Joe, say how much you want about Joe Jackson and how he ruled with an iron fist, literally. Well, not a fist, but a belt, literally. But he wanted what's best for his boys, no matter what, and he did. Sometimes you gotta have the hard nosed folks to get you somewhere as well too, whether you like it or not.
I bet Berry Gordy was not happy about that.
Of course
Correct, but we'll talk about that a little bit later.
Yeah, of course not.
Today,
he wasn't happy. You're right though. In fact, he low-key pulled like some bullshit Shook would put later on down the line as well too, with capitalizing on the success of the Jackson and mainly Michael Jackson in his epic days.
we're here to talk about the song that put them back on the map, Blame It on the Boogie, first released by Michael Jackson.
Okay, but which Michael Jackson?
Now you're starting to get it. The other Michael Jackson.
Okay.
All right, can we play this record? Because I gotta hear this other
I gotta hear this version, yes. Okay.
Roughly the same,
But different.
lick, but it's not the same one.
Okay.
Not walking down. All right.
Yeah.
Get this.
Okay, so Trey.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. That version's actually pretty cool though. It's a bop, I will say that though. But don't cold count to the Michael Jackson version. Like I said, if Michael Jackson don't do the original, he will turn that motherfucker out. I'm just telling you. You know what I'm saying? Again, ask Smokey Robinson. Who's Loving You? People think this is Michael Jackson's song. No, it's really Smokey Robinson's song, but Michael Jackson, as part of Jackson, turned that joint out as a kid. Because fun fact, majority of their first album, except for I Want You Back and maybe one other song, and maybe one other song, were all covers of previous Motown and other current Motown, previous or current Motown artists, as well as other artists as well, other artists at the time too. So yeah.
Let's get into it. Who is this other Michael Jackson?
Okay, so at the same time that all the Jackson drama is happening, across the pond, there's a completely different disco artist named Michael Jackson, though technically he released music under the name Mick Jackson. Now, Mick also made music with his brother.
Question.
And they had this opportunity
okay.
to work with a Grammy-winning producer named Sylvester Levay. He was in the disco world as well. But when the Jacksons,
He's still alive.
Mick and Dave, the UK
I look it up.
Jackson
He's still
family,
alive.
when they
And his full name is Michael George Jackson.
showed Sylvester Levay the demo for Blame It on the Boogie, he was underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed. Blame It on the Boogie.
Yeah, it's a great song, and Mick thought so too. So he ran to the piano and he started singing a line off the top of his head. And here's Dave Jackson, his brother, recalling the moment it happened.
Somewhere in the back of his head, he had this idea, I just can't control my feet. And he sat at the piano, I just can't
okay.
control my feet, I just can't. And all of a sudden, Sylvester, Silver as Mick called him, was sort of doing a funny little sort of dance to it, you know. He was getting, a bit turned on with this sort of thing. If he hadn't have come up with that line, I just can't control my feet.
I gotta show my mom this one.
As simple as it may
This is
be,
definitely
we
mom
could have lost a
blowing.
deal. The song Blame It on the Boogie could possibly have never been released.
So this one line made the entire song. And knowing that it helped get the Jacksons, the US Jacksons, back to popularity, you could argue that that one line saved their career as well.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy.
The
We
line
wouldn't be
did. That's
talking
crazy.
about this song at all right now if it weren't for that line.
Exactly.
Right.
That's crazy, though. I'm still trying to wrap my brain around the fact that a different Michael Jackson wrote and released this song first.
And funny enough, that one line is one of the main differences between the two different versions.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's listen to the Jackson's version. Here we go.
I just can't control my feet.
All right, show me Mick.
In the other version, we get this.
That's crazy. I just can't control my feet. I just can't.
I just can't.
I just can't.
I just can't.
I just can't
I
control
kinda like
my
it.
feet.
I ain't gonna lie. Like I said, that version's kind of like nice and groovy. I love it though. Now, I mean, just it's the Jacksons and it's Michael Jackson. Come on, but still, man. But you can't deny this version was pretty. I like the bop, and it's pretty good. Catchy as well too.
My feet.
I just can't.
I just can't.
I just can't.
I just can't. I just can't control my feet.
I want to take a quick second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Factor. Look, like you,
So
I'm busy.
I hold on. I like to do, sometimes there's some folks that do advertising. I don't do everybody's advertising as well too. Well, that mean only because it helped us get past, some of the restriction that YouTube put on that meme. It's got back stronger. Before it was like able to let that me post some of their bloody videos, but now YouTube's YouTube.
Back to it.
Okay, so there is another difference between these two versions that I find very interesting as a percussionist.
Here we go.
All right, let's get into it.
Okay, Brandon, I know there's been a lot of confusion for you in this video so far, but this one's easy. In a song using common 4/4 time, what beats do we call the backbeat that get the strong emphasis?
Okay, first of all, I'm not confused. You're legitimately trying to confuse me, but that would be beats 2 and 4.
Exactly, beats 2 and 4, and that's where we usually find snare drum hits. Those are the beats that you should be clapping along to when you listen to music, and that's also the place it makes the most sense often to play tambourine accents. But in this version, the Jackson's version, the tambourine is actually accenting beats 1 and 3.
That feels like not a good idea.
Yeah, kind of what I thought too, but on a deeper listen, I noticed that those accents help emphasize where the keyboard is playing and where the bass line is setting the groove. Now, as a percussionist, I'm obsessed with noticing the ways in which small instruments like the tambourine can affect the overall feel of a song in quite dramatic ways. You want to see?
Yes, let's do it.
All right, let's do it. Okay, so Brandon's gonna play the bass line from Blame It on the Boogie, the Jackson's version, which on its own is quite funky. Let's hear it.
So do you want it in the key of the Jackson's version, or do you want it in the key of the Mick Jackson version? Because they're different, guys. They're different.
Let's do whatever is not gonna be confusing for you.
Oh my God.
So the Mick Jackson version has the tambourine playing like you might expect, like this. But on the Jackson's version, the tambourine part is this.
Yup. It has to go pretty good.
Add in a conga part that emphasizes upbeats and the
Shout-
drum
shout
groove
out to
that
Randy for
does
that.
play accents on 2 and 4, and you get a really interesting way of accentuating this groove that makes you feel every single beat.
Okay, that's actually pretty cool. That slight change made it feel entirely different. And this bass line is very heavy on the downbeats, so they do sync up together.
It's actually kind of funny because playing beats 2 and 4 feels so natural that in the Jackson's recording, you can actually hear the session musician accidentally play 2 and 4 in verse 2 before realizing and jumping back to 1 and 3.
Oh, wow.
It's pretty wild how such a small change
Good little
can make.
tidbit to grab
Okay,
right
wait,
there.
let's get back to the story of how the Jacksons ended up with this song in the first place.
Okay, right. So they had just left Motown.
Right, and Berry Gordy's not happy about it.
Exactly, and not just because the Jacksons were one of their most successful groups. His daughter Hazel had just married Jermaine Jackson.
Oh, that'll make for an awkward Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so technically 4 of the Jackson 5 left Motown. Jermaine stayed behind to work on his solo career there, and because there was now an opening, young Randy was promoted to take his place. By the way, one of the Jacksons in the group was Tito, who just passed away recently. Rest in peace, Tito.
Wait, Janet performed with them at some point too. How many Jackson siblings are there?
There are a lot, and ultimately, because they left before their contract was up, Motown sued them. Eventually they reached an agreement that allowed the group to continue as long as they changed their name.
Okay, so that's how the Jackson
that's how
5 became
that's
the
how the
Jacksons.
Jacksons, yeah.
I always thought that was just sort of like a stylistic change.
No, we call that legal obligation. Anyway, newly minted, the Jacksons released a few records under Epic Records. And while they were moderately successful, it still wasn't what Joe had in mind for his sons. They managed to negotiate with the label full control of their next album, 1978's Destiny, which included this song.
Blame It on the Boogie by Mick Jackson.
Correct.
Okay, but how did the Jacksons get their hands on Blame It on the Boogie?
Well, for a long time, the story was of like a secret pocket recording that made its way over to Mick Jackson.
Yeah, we got like spies and trench coats and backdoor deals and stuff.
Yeah, kind of exactly, but not. The real story, in my opinion, is actually even worse.
How so?
Well, because their actual publisher of Mick Jackson, Peter Kirsten, met face to face with Joe Jackson and gave him the song.
Mick's own publisher.
His own publisher, which is crazy. Even the producer of Mick's version, Sylvester Levy, warned him, saying, "Don't do this. You're going to kill your act." But if you're that publisher, it's kind of hard to pass up on that payday. You've got a great song, and now you're going to get the U.S. Michael Jackson to sing it?
Well, yeah, I mean, he's making money either way, and, you know, he's keeping it in the family, so...
Okay, to be clear, Mick Jackson was not actually one of the Jacksons. Okay, same name.
Brandon, come
Okay,
on.
but you
Keep
said
up.
earlier that both of these songs were released at the same time?
Yeah, within weeks of each other. Because CBS and
It's not the first time that happened too. There's a good amount of cover songs that happened. They came out at the same time, or songs. So yeah.
Epic had a lot riding on their brand new contract with the Jacksons, so they didn't care the mixed version had already just come out. This meant that at the same time, two versions of the same song, both by artists named Michael Jackson, were vying for chart position, and the media couldn't get enough of it. It was dubbed the Battle of the Boogie.
Wow.
Okay, that sounds like the title of a weird disco Civil War reenactment musical.
I like that. We should work on that. But
That's a
it
very
was
cool
real.
title.
And some radio stations took sides. BBC Radio 1 only played the Jacksons version.
Oh!
Radio only played Mick's single. But in the end, it was the Jacksons release, which was a bit more popular. They had a music video using cutting-edge technology featuring great dancing with electronic trail effects. And while this single performed moderately on the charts, it reintroduced them to audiences. And just a few months later, Shake Your Body Down to the Ground from the same album got them back into the Billboard Top 10 for the first time in many years.
Okay, but Mick's version, Mick Jackson, British Mick Jackson,
Yeah.
his version of Blame It on the Boogie, the one that he wrote,
Yes.
that Mick Jackson, just
Yes.
want to make sure we're talking
Yes.
about the same one.
Uh-huh.
His version did well too, right?
Yeah, it did. And that's why I wanted to bring up the question of what makes a great song great? Because I've always loved the Jacksons version. And when I hear Mick's version, it does sound like a weird alternate reality thing.
Right.
But I do still find myself
It is.
enjoying the song.
It's-
you did
it's
too.
Still
right?
enjoyable.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
So is that because
not-
I already
It's like it's not a bad like I get it, but I like it. No, because there's some ones that like the ones that we found out was a cover, and original. I've got some of the ones I think I don't know it's from DJ Fury or somebody else. Well, of course, Aria, and yes, I know I haven't done it around a while. I'm gonna find a way to figure this out. If I have to go backwards with these, I got y'all. But anyway, that is all. I'm not top 10. The original don't sound as great as the cover sound way better than the original. I mean, another prime example that happened not too long, a little bit later after that is the Mr. Telephone Man. I forgot the guy name that originally did. He was like a Jamaican artist. He was like the Jamaican Michael Jackson, and he did later on his later teens Purge, and then New Edition knocked it out the park. So yeah, but this is one of the ones where both versions are pretty cool. Just Jackson's more popular and groovy.
enjoyed the Jacksons version. Here's the thought experiment. If Mix was the only version that existed,
It's
would
something
it
that-
still be as great of a song?
I don't know, because I do like
Marketing.
both versions of these songs. There's
Probably not, because they probably wouldn't have been as marketed as the Jackson 5 was as well too.
a lot of layers here, though, like the production, the groove, the performance of the musicians on each of these records. The song is the vehicle for these things, but I think it's not just the song itself that made these two versions successful.
Well, let's talk about a third version of this song.
Wait, there's another version of this song? Are you telling me there's other Michael Jackson?
Yes.
What?
No, I'm just joking. There's only two Michael Jacksons, but I am talking about the Mexican superstar Luis Miguel. And
Wow.
his version of this song in 1990 called Será que no me
Oh,
amas.
90,
And guess
okay.
what? It was a hit for him as well. There was a whole
Okay.
dance and everything.
Okay, so you're telling me that Michael,
Yes.
Mick,
Yes.
and Miguel all sang this song and it was a hit
3
for
M's.
each of them.
Yes.
Okay, maybe Blame It on the Boogie really is that great of a song. This is something I've thought about too with other songs that are covers that are more well known than the original, like Jimi Hendrix's All Along the Watchtower,
That's Bob
Okay.
Dylan.
or Whitney Houston's I Will Always Love You.
That's Dolly Parton. What about Respect by Aretha Franklin?
Otis Redding.
Yup.
The list goes on and on. So honestly, man, I'm not
I
even
said that.
sure what makes it. Is it the record? Is it the lyrics? Is it the arrangements? The
Arrangement.
artist that sings
Your
it?
name
The
have to start with
marketing.
an M.
I I guess as long as it's making you feel good, all you can do is blame it on the boogie.
I
cannot
like that.
believe you did that, and I didn't see it coming. Okay, Trey, thank you so much for stopping by and sharing this story. This is an interesting thing that you brought up. I wonder what you all think. Drop a comment and let us know what you think makes a great song great. Any other covers that are more well-known than the original? I mean, I feel like I could do a whole video on one of these exact examples.
Brandon, you did.
Oh, right.
Which
the Earth,
one?
Wind, and Fire cover of the Beatles song. You can watch that here.
Okay. I do have it though. This was a good video though, said. But shout out to Brand Shaw. I forgot the other guy named Terry, I think his name is. Other than that, this was a good informative video. If you like my reaction, like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's your boy T signing off. One love.